Hi guys, and welcome back for another week of Wake Up CX. So this week's episode's a bit unusual for two reasons. Number one, it's about celebrities, which is a bit odd. And number two, it's because I'm not actually here. I've recorded in advance because I'm away for the week. So I'm going to catch up with everyone's comments at the start of next week or over the weekend when I get back. So this week's topic is all about celebrities. And I mentioned last week that I'd spent a lot of time scrolling in search of a certain comedian and never got what I was looking for. But again, I also mentioned that we try and extract value from these things. And I extracted value by sending videos to my kids. But at the same time, I also got a lot of ideas for Wake Up CX and topics that I would like to do. Now, one of these was I kept coming across clips of actors and celebrities that were discussing, how they came up with the movie idea or, why they decided to take things in a certain direction. And the more and more I was watching it, I was like, this really does actually apply to, contact centers, customer experience, customer service, the whole lot. And it might seem really odd, but the more I thought about it, the more it really does. So one of the good examples I came across was Ben Affleck and Matt Damon talking about Good Will Hunting. And the comment that they've made was that they never want to be judged for the bad ideas that they make. When they're discussing a movie idea or coming up with a script play, they basically just keep firing out these really bad ideas. It could be the most stupid thing in the world. And they keep firing out bad ideas on top of another. And eventually, the ideas start to improve. But the fact that they start with that whole, I don't want to be judged for the bad comments, the bad ideas, I think it's absolutely right. And I think that's something that we do need to bring into the contact center world. It's all about how do you develop customer service? How do you build a better customer experience? And if you make people feel like they can't share an idea, good or bad, you're not going to deliver that great idea at the end. So I think that's a big part of it, and I think celebrities have kind of unlocked that. Now, they do operate from a place where, a mistake's not the end of the world, especially if you've got star quality. You making a mistake, it's not the end of the world. You're still going to make your money back. But your average Joe in a contact center might not feel they have that, so they keep their voices a little bit quiet. They don't want to share ideas. No one wants to seem like the idiot in the room, so rather than throwing out that idea that could be the foundation of something amazing, they keep quiet and, stay within themselves. And I do think that's a shame. It's a bit of a missed opportunity. And again, I think that's a lesson we can learn from celebrities and actors. And there's another thing, again, I'm going to jump on this bandwagon. I'm sorry. I hate to do this. I'm not a football fan at all. I'll watch Wales when they're playing, but beyond that, I really couldn't care less. I'm a rugby lad. But I think everyone now, football fan or not, knows about, welcome to Wrexham, the Wrexham Football Club and everything that's going on there. And I ended up watching it just basically a morbid curiosity, and I got quite into it. It was quite a fun little show to watch. And it's a lot less about football than you would imagine, by the way. But one of the things that got me in the show was the way they react to things. Like, yes, they're playing up to the cameras. Obviously, to be expected. They're celebrities. That's what they do. They play up to the cameras. They make things seem more bigger than they are. But the whole show's about, community engagement, doing what's right for the people nearby. And I wish more and more businesses and clubs could do that. It's not about your best interest at all times. It's about the customer's best interest, your community's best interest, the people that you serve. It should always be about them. That's why we're doing things. That's the focus of doing it. Whether or not you've got your own little macro goal of, I need to pay rent, I need to pay mortgage, buy food, all the rest of it. You do that by delivering for a community or a group of people. And that should always be your focus. Don't focus inward on what your own problems are, but focus on the external, and the rest will come. And one of the comments that was made, I can't remember which one of them it was that made it now. I think it was probably Ryan Reynolds. He basically stated it doesn't matter whether or not it takes them, 5 years, 20 years, whatever, to get from where they are now to the Premier League. It's about that journey and what it does for the community. And I think that was a really good way of looking at it, because, he's got the money to lose. It's not like he's going to go broke if this little project doesn't work. At least not in the early days when he's only spending 2-3 million a year. He can afford that. But yeah, that was a big part of it. And even at that, there was topics in the early episodes where they were discussing the commitment they had made. So when they took over Wrexham, they had to sign a contract and say, look, this is what I'm going to be doing. This is what we're delivering into. And one of those things was like, we're going to give you this stand back that was taken away. We're going to bring the stadium back under the ownership of the fans. And, you had to jump through a lot of hoops to achieve this. And the amazing thing is, these guys are celebrities. They know very little about football. They know very little about sport. Prior to taking over the club, they knew nothing about Wrexham. They knew nothing about that community. And that would be the same for a lot of your employees within your business. They might not know much about your sector. They might research the business, get a basic understanding, for the interview process so that they can sound proper when they come across. But they might not know it intrinsically, definitely not in depth. But once you make that commitment, you need to buy in whole hog. And you'll see that on LinkedIn. There's people that have never worked in, say, auto insurance before, and suddenly they become experts on auto insurance through in every conversation. And that is the buy-in that you're hoping to achieve within your business. And I think, again, that's something we can learn from celebrities, because those guys throw themselves into a role beyond anything that I've really seen. I'm horrendous for names, and I cannot remember the name of the actor, so hopefully someone in the comments can help me here. Batman. Christian Bale, that's his name. So, he lost a huge amount of weight for some of his roles. Like, he completely transforms his life, his body, everything for the roles that he's doing. And that level of commitment is insane. I'm just trying to shift a few stone, and it is mind draining at times to, keep pushing myself to keep moving forward, to keep putting the effort in. And the fact that they do it, and so many of them do it, you don't need to pick just one. Actors all across the spectrum, they will transform their body, the voice, the mannerisms, everything. They basically put themselves on a canvas and be redrawn out for the role that they want. And it's all in aid of us, the community, the people that are going to enjoy it. And that's definitely what businesses and contact centres and that can look at. What do we need to do to fully transform to deliver for our customers? Now, I don't know if it's because celebrities have got all this big chunk of change that they don't need to think day-to-day lives and all that. It's all a bit automated for them. I don't know if that makes the huge difference. And it allows them to, fully dedicate themselves to the things that they're doing. But if that's the secret, we need to find a way of unlocking it for everybody else, because it's amazing to watch. But yeah, so what are your thoughts on the topic? As promised, it's a little bit unusual, a little bit of a break from the norm. But, I thought it was a bit of a fun variation on the normal things we do. Taking it from a little bit of a Hollywood slant, shall we say. So, yeah, let me know in the comments and share your experiences. If you've got any great videos or things like that as well, please share them. I love watching little videos and the clips, especially if they can be inspirational and help me in some way or change your mindset. So please keep them coming, and I shall speak to you when I return from my little trip. Bye-bye.